It started with the sound of a plastic toy underfoot, a sharp shift in weight, and then gravity did the rest. The laundry basket slipped from my arms, crashing against the steps, ricocheting into furniture and spilling clothes in every direction. The impact jolted through me as my body fell backward, hard, onto the stairs. A deep, blooming ache spread across my back and hips. My son's toy had been waiting there like a trap, tucked just out of sight. The sound was deafening in the stillness of the night. The basket clattering, furniture rattling, fabric whipping through the air. It was loud enough to wake my son from sleep upstairs, but not my husband. He was only one floor away, headphones on, immersed in the world of his computer game. It struck me in that moment. This wasn't just about tonight's accident. If this had been worse, if I had fallen forward, broken my leg, hit my head, he wouldn't have known for hours. Hours in which I could be lying there, unable to move, unable to call out loud enough to be heard. And that thought stayed with me. My husband is a gamer, a dedicated one. Most nights, 5 out of 7, once our son goes to bed around 8:30, he disappears into his office. He plays until after midnight, often for 4 uninterrupted hours. That, in itself, has never been a problem for us. He spends time with me and our son. I have hobbies of my own that he doesn't share. We've always respected each other's space, but the accident changed something in my mind. I kept picturing that scenario, something happening to me, to our son, to the house, and him not hearing a thing. So I asked him for something I thought was simple. For my peace of mind, could he step out once, halfway through his nightly gaming session, just to check on me? Not a long conversation, not a disruption, just a quick hi, and then back to his game. His response was quick, almost dismissive. He said it was a huge overreaction, a waste of time. He argued that he takes breaks anyway, to use the bathroom, to grab a snack, so there was no need to schedule one just to check on me. But I knew, from experience, that his bathroom breaks aren't the same as intentionally checking in. Sometimes, those breaks are hours apart. And when he wears those headphones, even without official noise-canceling technology, they might as well be walls. I've worn them myself at his desk. The outside world becomes muted, distant, almost non-existent. I wasn't asking for surveillance. I wasn't asking for constant attention. I was asking for reassurance. The conversation didn't end well. He thought it was silly. I thought it was basic care. But the more I thought about it, the more unsettled I became. Because this wasn't just about me falling down the stairs. We have a child, and in those hours when his father is in another room, sealed away by those headphones, I am the only one left to hear if something happens. If our son were to fall, cry out, or get sick, I'd be the one running. And if I were the one hurt, who would hear him? The responses from people around me, friends, family, even strangers, varied, but many understood my fear. Some shared stories of their own. Partners who never heard loud crashes in the house because of gaming headsets. Moments when a spouse or parent was injured and the other never knew until much later. There were darker stories, too, about intruders, accidents, emergencies that played out entirely in silence because someone was tuned out of reality. One woman told me about catching a falling cabinet in her kitchen while pregnant. She screamed for help, but her husband, playing with headphones on, heard nothing. It was a neighbor, not her own spouse, who came running. Another described falling in the shower, shattering tiles, and lying dazed on the floor. The person in the next room, wearing headphones, never came to check. And there was a story that haunted me, of a man upstairs playing games with headphones on, unaware for 10 full minutes that his wife was being attacked downstairs. By the time he realized something was wrong, it was far too late to prevent the harm. These weren't abstract what-ifs. They were reminders that being home together isn't the same as being present. And so the tension in our house lingered. My husband saw my request as an inconvenience. I saw his refusal as a dismissal, not just of my accident, but of the need for mutual care. I couldn't help but imagine the scenarios. If I fainted while carrying laundry, if I slipped outside in the yard after dark, if our son woke from a nightmare and I couldn't get to him, would the sound of a digital battlefield matter more than the possibility of real danger in the next room? I know my husband loves me. I know he loves our son. But love isn't just about feelings. It's about actions. And sometimes those actions are small, almost invisible, until they matter most. Maybe for him, this request felt unnecessary. Maybe in his mind, nothing serious has ever happened, so nothing ever will. But the truth is, life doesn't wait for convenience. Emergencies don't check your gaming schedule. So here I am, still wondering, was I wrong to ask? Was it unfair of me to want a simple check-in during those long hours? Is it too much to expect that, when you share a home and a life, you also share the responsibility of being alert to each other's safety? So, am I the asshole? And to you listening right now, imagine this. You're in your home. Someone you love is just a few steps away, yet they might as well be a mile because they've shut the world out. An accident happens. A fall, a fire, a cry for help. Wouldn't you want them to hear you? Wouldn't you want to know they'd come? For me, the answer is obvious. But maybe for you, it's more complicated. If you've ever shared a space with someone, partner, roommate, family, you know that safety is one of the quiet promises of living together. It's not something we say out loud every day, but it's there in the background. I'm here. If something happens, I'll know. I'll help. This story reminds me that those promises can fade without us noticing. Not because we don't care, but because life gets comfortable. We start assuming nothing will happen. We start believing that being in the same house is enough. But it's not always enough. Technology, whether it's gaming headsets, earbuds, or just a closed door, can build invisible walls. And those walls can separate us at the very moments when we most need connection. I think the lesson here isn't just about gaming or headphones or one couple's argument. It's about presence. About remembering that even in our private hobbies, our solo escapes, we're still part of a shared life. And sometimes, being there for someone you love takes less than a minute. So I'll ask you, the audience, what do you think? If you were in this situation, would you agree to a simple check-in? Or would you see it as an unnecessary interruption? Because maybe the real question isn't about who's right or wrong. Maybe it's about what kind of partner, roommate, or family member you want to be when it truly matters.